Klay out, it looked like you were pretty aggressive right from the start. Did you have a little extra sense of urgency in terms of scoring as opposed to times when maybe you would distribute if you had all of your pieces on the floor?
For sure. I'm just trying to make the right reads, and for the most part, not even myself, just we were aggressive getting into the paint and swinging the ball. We were a little rushed early, but we were just trying to create good offense.
Stephen Curry had an all-time great performance, but the Raptors were always able to stay ahead. Yes, Klay Thompson was out, but the Warriors lost this game in the first quarter, and this is why. What is up, dudes, dudettes, ballers, players? It's your boy MJ. What I watched yesterday was not the Warriors we have seen for the past 5 years. Yes, a big part of that was Klay Thompson being out, and you can't just suddenly find a way to replace him, but it's more than just that. It's about the Warriors' offense and the lineups that cost them the game. He's so mad! And before I break all this down, I want to thank all of you for hitting 200k. I'm amazed, and the 200k giveaway is coming soon. But first, I want to announce that I'm officially starting my Twitch channel and going hard. I've been working this past week on getting everything ready for NBA 2K, to watch games together, to react to highlights. So I'll be streaming tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Tomorrow will be like a watch party for Game 4 of the finals, so we can share all of our thoughts together as a community. And I'll also be doing a Twitch giveaway once we hit 1,000 followers on there, so go check it out. It's in the description at MJ All Day 2K. So to the 90% that watch my videos that still aren't subscribed, please subscribe! The Warriors' offense lost this game in the first quarter, not their defense, but to understand that, let's talk about what the Warriors are. The Warriors revolutionized the NBA with their three-point shooting and most importantly, their spacing. They stretched you with 4 shooters, and with their early death lineup, all 5 could shoot and make most big men who couldn't move useless. With their off-ball movement, it seemed impossible to guard the Warriors without having a great defender at each position who could switch. Now, Klay Thompson was a main contributor in that, but they had shooters off the bench that could just fit in the role. Last night was a different story. This was the starting lineup. The Warriors opted to go with this lineup to try to fill the hole Klay Thompson left defensively, putting Shaun Livingston in as the bigger guard. But this starting lineup in 12 minutes on the floor together had a net rating of -23.8. If I count Iguodala as a consistent 3-point shooter, that gave the starting lineup only 2 shooters. 2 shooters in 2019. 2 shooters in... What this allows the Raptors to do is defend 2 players with just 1. For example, with Curry running off an off-ball screen and getting 2 players on him, Livingston slips into the paint with Leonard and Marc Gasol converging onto Cousins, who has the ball. Siakam is able to guard Livingston in the paint. Draymond Green then cuts in because he can't shoot, receives the pass from Livingston, and Siakam just takes a step to his right to guard Draymond Green. Green then passes it to Livingston, who also can't shoot the 3, so he stays in the mid-range area, and then Siakam just takes 1 step to his left, and now he has guarded both of them. In this play, there were 2 defenders on Curry and 2 on Cousins, yet the Warriors got a contested shot out of it. Even if you look at this missed Cousins 3, there are 4 Raptors in the paint, and that is an acceptable defense against this lineup. Jeff Van Gundy said that this Warriors team wouldn't even make the playoffs, and that's because this lineup isn't a lineup meant for 2019. It's a lineup that could work 12 years ago, but that's a completely different style which requires pounding the paint more. The first 6 minutes of the first quarter was when the Warriors went down by 10, and then from there, they were always playing catch-up. As the game went on, in the crucial moments, Steve Kerr went to Shaun Livingston less and less. He played in 16 minutes in Game 2 and only 17 minutes in Game 3 despite being a starter and with Klay out. Because the Warriors had no bigs that could shoot, shoot and did not have Klay, Livingston was always playing with non-shooters, which hurts his game. Not only that, but the Raptors were able to double Curry and leave guys like Iguodala, Livingston, and Draymond open because they would want them to take the threes anyway. The Warriors used Curry's gravity to get some open shots at the rim, but with no spacing threats, even if a player got free, the Raptors could always help. They just couldn't get help from the fans though. The Warriors' best offensive weapon, the Curry and Green pick and roll, was somewhat effective, but Draymond just didn't have the options he has on the perimeter to space the floor out. Draymond only had 4 assists and had 4 turnovers, which is just an uncharacteristic ratio for him. I also have to stress the fact that it is harder to lose a player than to have never had them at all, because players are used to playing with certain lineups all year. Losing a player means different lineups that don't have that best chemistry. Without KD, the Warriors have experienced worth 2 finals runs. Without Klay, the Warriors are in newfound territory. Look at the Warriors' turnovers. Because they weren't spaced out, the Warriors had to force passes inside amongst many defenders with no spacing, and had 10 turnovers in the first half. These turnovers, along with all their missed shots on offense, allowed the Raptors to play a faster brand of basketball with more fast breaks. That's why even though the Warriors had 2 less turnovers compared to Game 2, they gave up 18 fast break points, the same as Game 2 and 2 less than Game 1. This stat for fast break points doesn't account for all the times the Warriors defense wasn't set up when they were going back on defense after a miss. Over 18% of the Raptors' shots came with more than 18 seconds left in the shot clock. I know defense leads to offense, but making shots would have prevented the Raptors from attacking a non-set defense. And with all this, the Warriors seemed frustrated on the defensive end. The Warriors shot 39% from the field and 33% from 3, all which are horrible for their team. Even with Klay Thompson out, 20% of Raptors shots came with 4 seconds or less on the shot clock, meaning the Warriors were able to play pretty good defense when their defense was actually set. DeMarcus Cousins in Game 3 just did not have it. He seemed like he had been hit by a truck, and honestly, we couldn't expect much to begin with. At one point, he looked like he gave up. Game 2 was a surprise in the way he played because he was able to do so much. Game 3 showed how Cousins really isn't close to being back to himself, and that allowed Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, and Pascal Siakam to dominate the game. Bogut played better and worked better for the lob, which was what the Warriors turned to when Steph wasn't able to create. Without Kevon Looney, the Warriors also turned to Jordan Bell, who repeatedly got beat from the perimeter and was forced off the court. Now, with all these mistakes, they picked up their act after that first quarter and went on up and down stretches, but they could never recover once they went down 10 in that first. The Raptors made timely shots, in large part due to missed shots by the Warriors and the Raptors being able to shoot shots before defense was set up. Bringing out more shooters would have forced the bigs to come up more out of the paint and not just be able to sit in the paint to stop the Warriors bigs from scoring inside. A guy like Alfonso McKinney might have made sense to use more because he was good enough to defensively guard Kyle Lowry and Kawhi and at the same time be a floor spacer. I'm not saying that he would have stopped either one of those guys, but he wouldn't have been a defensive liability. He only played 18 minutes, which is up from the 10 minutes he was getting in the first 2 games, but considering the fact that McKinney, Jerebko, and Bogut were the only players that had a +0 while everyone else had a negative plus and minus, McKinney probably should have gotten more time. The Warriors have always had a philosophy that was never to perfectly match up defensively, but to create mismatches with their offense and ride the wave of energy, which relied a lot on Draymond's ability to compensate. Obviously, without Klay, a lot of that changes, and I'm not saying that it would have been easy, but the Warriors stayed with the Raptors for most of the game. Steve Kerr is known for these adjustments and making that one big change that sparks a team, like Iguodala starting in the 2015 NBA Finals, or even DeMarcus Cousins starting last game. But in this game, he just played into the Raptors' hands. You know, Kawhi was just saying, no, as his trash talk. The Raptors were already willing to focus completely on Curry, as they show in Game 2 with their box-and-1 defense once Klay Thompson went down. They were already willing to leave many of the Warriors players open from 3. Even with one of the best performances in NBA Finals history, the Warriors lost. Klay Thompson does a lot on the court, but the decisions to not use more of their wing shooters to try to fill up some of the holes left by Klay Thompson just didn't make sense. They started to use them later in the game, and by then, it was just not enough to play catch up. The Raptors were perfectly happy with the Warriors playing this type of basketball because the Raptors have great interior defense, and that was why the Warriors lost this game. But what do you think? Who's gonna win Game 4? What about the finals? Come join me on Twitch cause it's gonna be fun, and tomorrow we're doing a watch party for Game 4 so you can see all the live reactions. 200k giveaway coming soon, so thank you. Drop a like for this performance by Curry cause, well, that was crazy. The Instagram shout of the day goes to George, and the all-day notification swat shout goes to SB Boy. Thanks for the all-day support. Make sure to bell for all-day notifications, and if you're not a sub, hit that subscribe button, join the all-day community for more fire content, all-day support. It's your boy MJ. We out.
Okay, just hop in my spaceship. Okay, just hop in my spaceship. No, no, no.